Hello everyone, so this is the problem of the day today. Maximum number of jumps to reach the last index. So we are given a zero index array nums of n integers and an integer target. And we are initially positioned at index 0. In one step, we can jump from index I to any index j such that I is less than j and the absolute difference of nums j and nums I must be less than equal to target. Okay, and we have to return the maximum number of jumps we can make to reach index n minus 1. If there is no way to reach index n minus 1, then we return minus 1. Let's just look at the example they have provided. Nums is 136412 and target is 2. Okay, so from 1 I can jump to 3. From 3 I can jump to 4. From 4 I can jump to 2 because all these indices 1 to 3, 3 minus 1 is actually less than equal to target 2. 3 minus 4 is less than equal to target 2, right? The absolute value of 4 minus 3 actually is less than equal to target 2. Then the absolute value of 2 minus 4 is less than equal to 2. So I can make maximum of 3 jumps, right? And I'll return 3 here. That is what the explanation says as well, right? But I have multiple ways to reach n minus 1. Not only this way, I could have also done 1 to 2 directly. 2 minus 1's absolute value is less than equal to 2, right? I could have also done from 1 to 1, then 1 to 2. I could have also done from 1 to 3, then from 3 to 1, and then 1 to 2. Right? It would have given me the same answer 3. So the maximum answer was actually 3 out of all the answers I could have got. Right? So this seems to be a recursive problem. Also in the constraints, n can be less than equal to 1000. So n's upper limit is 1000. So I can think of a recursive solution and then further look for memoizing it. So at any index I can look for other indices where I can jump and simply return the maximum of all the values for that particular index. Okay, so this problem requires a recursive solution because we can break down our problem into recursive subproblem. The recursive subproblem f of I is actually going to return me the maximum number of jumps I can make to reach n minus 1 from I. Okay, so first of all, I'll begin my recursion from f of 0. From f of 0, I'm going to iterate from j is equal to I plus 1 till j is less than equal to n minus 1 and check whether my jump from 1 to any j is possible or not, and then call for that particular j f of j. Let's quickly look at the recursive tree that we will be having for this particular example. So when I am at index 0, I have to check whether these values are reachable or not. So from f of 0, I can only go to f of 1, f of 4 and f of 5. Why? Because at f of 1 I have 3. 3 minus 1 is less than equal to 2. At f of 4 I have 1. 1 minus 1 is less than equal to 2, and at f of 5 I have 2. So 2 minus 1 is less than equal to 2. So I have made one operation. So I'm going to do 1 plus the next index that I'm going to. 1 plus the next index I'm going to. 1 plus the next index I'm going to. Now from f of 1, these are the possible locations I can go to. Right. So my next element to jump to can be 4, 1 or 2 because they fulfill the condition, right? So from 1 I can only jump to 3, 4 or 5. So I'm doing another jump, 1 plus, right? When I'm at 3, then from 3 I can only jump to 2. I mean from 3 I can only jump to fifth index because it's 2 here. So 2 minus 4 is less than equal to 2, the absolute value of 2 minus 4. So I can jump here and I can reach my f of 5. Right, when I reach my f of 5, then my iteration is completed since I've reached n minus 1. So this f of 5 can be, so when my I is equal to, so when I'm at I is equal to n minus 1, I can simply return 0, right? So f of 3 is going to return 1 because from 3 only one jump is required to reach f of 5. F of 3 is going to return f of 1 2 because from 1 two jumps are required to reach f of 5, right? Then here f of 5 is going to return 1 only to f of 4, because from 4 because from 4 only one jump is required to reach 5. And f of 4 is going to return 2 to f of 1, right? F of 3 was also returning 2 to f of 1, and f of 5 is going to return 1 only to 1, because from 1 to 5 we only require one jump. Okay, so 2, 2 and 1, out of all these values the maximum value is going to be chosen, and we return to this. So 2 plus 1, 3, right? Similarly, for 4 would be returning 2, and f of 5 would be returning 1. So out of all these values, 3, 2, 1, the maximum value is going to be returned, that is 3. This is how a recursive solution is going to work, and we can further memorize it because we can see that there are multiple repetitive subproblems. F of 4 need not be called again, right? F of 5 also need not be called again. So we can memorize the solution. So let's look at the implementation. So I'll make a recursive function for index I. Now my base case was if I is equal to nums.size minus 1, I'll simply return 0. Now for every index I'm going to see what is the maximum number of operations I can get. So first of all, I'll initialize my operations to be int min, because I have to maximize it. And I'll start iteration from I plus 1. Now if the absolute difference between nums j and nums I is less than equal to target, then only I'll call for f of j, right? So my operations will be maximum of operations, comma, sorry, j, comma, nums target. This loop will actually tell me that for any index I, what can be the maximum number of operations I can take to reach nums.size minus 1. And I'll simply return operations. Now I'll take my answer, I'll call from 0. Now if my answer is negative, then in that case I'll return minus 1. Oh, I actually made a mistake. I'll be adding 1 here because I'm increasing my number of operations and jumping to jth value, right? So if my answer is less than 0, return minus 1. Otherwise, return answer. Let's run. Okay. Oh, by mistake, j should be less than nums.size only. Okay. So this is not the most optimal way to do this problem because it's a recursive solution. So it's basically an exponential solution. So it's gonna fail in terms of time complexity. So I'm simply going to memorize it, and for that I'll have to initialize my DP. Now this DP of I is going to store the value of f of I. I'll simply store the values and if my DP of I has already been visited, it's not equal to minus 1, then I'll return DP of I only. Okay, I didn't call DP here. Let's try submitting it. Okay, so the time complexity of the solution would be big O of n square and the space complexity would be big O of